The big one of the night slate is going to be Kansas at Texas Tech. Kansas is a 4-2 football team that's playing a lot better than I think a lot of people realize coming into the year. And Jalon Daniels is a big reason why. Jalon Daniels is off to his best start of his career, and there's not really a better time to do it than his final season of college football. 1,400 yards, nearly 1,500, 16 touchdowns, and just 2 interceptions. Now, having a guy like Emmanuel Henderson has been a really nice addition to this team and an explosive player. 28 catches for 488 yards, averaging 17.4 yards per catch and 4 touchdowns. Now, there are other guys that have stepped up as well. I think that you've had guys that have done some good things for this offense, but nobody has reached the level of Emmanuel Henderson. Henderson is a deep threat, stretches the field vertically, and he will put a lot of stress on this Texas Tech secondary, a secondary that for the most part hasn't exactly been challenged. So that's going to be a new thing to pay attention to. And again, this Kansas team is playing a lot better than what we anticipated heading into the year. Now they are 4-2, so it's not like they've been perfect, right? And you have the loss to Missouri, you have the loss to Cincinnati. Kind of the theme with those is teams that are able to put up points on Kansas have been able to put up points. Now, the offense has done its part, and Jalon Daniels is a big reason why. And when we talked about Jalon Daniels coming into this year, we talked about him where if he could play at a certain level, this offense had potential. It just came down to who was going to catch the football for him. Well, we checked both of those boxes. Jalon Daniels is playing consistent. Emmanuel Henderson has stepped up as his go-to guy, and that's the combination you needed. Now, you also saw LaShawn Williams come into this program, and he has been a solid player in the rushing attack. Now, Daniels has been a contributor there, but not as much as maybe we anticipated in the preseason. That being said, this is still a very good offense, an offense that's averaging 35 points a game. And again, in big games, they have not shied away from the spotlight. They have not hidden themselves from an opportunity. They have taken those opportunities head on, and they are not the reason that they are 4-2. They're the reason why they've won 4 games. They're not the reason why they've lost 2. The defense has shown at times that it can be disruptive and it can be a factor. And going against a team where you're a 13.5 point underdog is going to be challenging. Beating Texas Tech, if you've asked anybody that's played Texas Tech, is hard. And right now it feels like it's Texas Tech and the rest of the Big 12. But that doesn't mean that there aren't opportunities for them to stumble. And Kansas is a team that if there's going to be someone to give Texas Tech a hard time, Kansas is definitely up there with the way we've seen them play. That's a team that can play in a shootout. They can handle some of those higher scoring games. But do they have enough in the tank? They can hang for a certain level, a certain period of time. But how do they hang when it comes to the fourth quarter? That's going to be a big question. Now, the defense has to play better, plain and simple. And overall, I think you've seen some good things from this group. You've seen some new faces step up. But this is a Texas Tech offense that has balance, that has explosive players. And I don't know if Kansas possesses the right amount of talent and depth to be able to hang with a team like Texas Tech. That's going to be a big question for Kansas, is on that side of the ball. Now, for Texas Tech, we got back to Baron Morton. We talked about how maybe he would share the backfield, share the quarterback duties with Will Hammond after what we saw against Utah. That's clearly not the case. Baron Morton, who is honestly deserving to be in the Heisman Trophy conversation, he is playing with that level of confidence. 1,400 yards, 12 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions. And again, a guy who deserves, I think, way more recognition than he's getting right now. But Texas Tech has plenty of time to put him in that conversation, to put him in that list. It helps when you have an offense that's as balanced as it is. Now, when you came into the year, you didn't expect Cameron Dickey and Jacoby Williams to play the roles that they did, but they have stepped up in a big way. They have stepped up more than people anticipated, and now part of it is because you had an injury to Quentin Joyner, but Dickey and Williams have not apologized for anything. They took advantage of their opportunities, and it's been a big reason why this offense has balance. Dickey has 71 carries for 330 yards and 6 touchdowns. Jacoby Williams, 58 carries for 308 yards and 4 scores. Now that's provided balance to what was already going to be a good passing attack, and they have 6 players with 100 yards receiving or more. Williams and Dickey are 2 of those guys. Leading them is Coy Aiken, 24 catches for 341 yards and 3 touchdowns. Caleb Douglas, who's been as clutch as they've seen in years past, 18 catches for 340 yards and 1 touchdown. Terrence Carter has had drops at times, but he's been a nice piece as well. 20 catches, 269 yards, 4 touchdowns. Reginald Virgil, another new name, 21 catches, 252 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So this passing attack is deep. This passing attack is loaded. Does Kansas have the players to be able to cover all of that? Do they have the cornerbacks to cover Aiken and Caleb Douglas? Do they have the linebackers to cover Carter Williams and Dickey wherever they're lined up? Do they have the personnel to be able to slow that down? So far, the teams that Texas Tech has played do not. And I don't know if Kansas does right now, but that's going to really determine how well Kansas can stay in this game. We know the offense can put up points. It's just that the defense hasn't shown that in big games they can slow down teams enough to keep them in games. Now, Texas Tech's defense has been a different story. Texas Tech defense has been dominant. They have stifled teams. They've slowed them down. They've taken teams out of games, which has allowed their offense to, at times, have struggles. The Utah game specifically. There were 3 quarters of not so great football for Texas Tech. And in a way, they really just survived 3 quarters to get to that 4th quarter and then pull away at the end. But that was not a clean win. Texas Tech definitely has things that they need to sort out. But this is a team that's afforded those luxuries because of how aggressive they were in the transfer portal and how their ability to bring in talent to help them out. Now, the defensive line has been a big beneficiary of that. Guys like David Bailey, Romello Height, those 2 guys in the edge have been phenomenal. Bringing in guys like Lee Hunter and Skylar Gill Howard on the interior, those have also been big-time contributors. So the defensive line deserves a lot of credit. Now, the secondary has benefited the most from that. But also, I think that when we talked about this team, the linebackers returned quite a bit of production, but there were questions about were they just cleaning up for a bad team and they were just getting more opportunities, or were they actually good? And so far, the answer is they're pretty good. Jacob Rodriguez is a stud. 33 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles. He's been a natural playmaker. Now, it's helped that having that defensive line, but the linebackers are as advertised, maybe even better than that. That's how good this team has been, and now they have an opportunity to show it again. I'm going with Texas Tech in this one. I don't think Kansas has the ability to slow down this offense enough. Turnovers will probably change my mind on that, but so far, for the most part, even when Texas Tech has turned the ball over, they've proven that their defense can take away the ball from the other team or slow that offense down to keep them in that game. So for me, Texas Tech is just going to take care of business. I don't have a ton of concerns about this team winning this game.